This is a continuation of the previous video. I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. I was hoping my last update would be my last post relating to this matter, but here I am again. It's been about 8 months since my life turned into a shit show, and unfortunately for me, things just keep getting worse. I'm not going to go into detail, but I hope I can give enough to get some constructive feedback from you on here. You've been far more helpful than you know. The last time I posted, Sue was in a pretty bad mental state, and fortunately, she got better after some therapy. I felt really bad for her, but I knew I couldn't stay. I know a lot of people have made it through this kind of stuff, but I know myself. Had I stayed, I'd only be doing myself and her more harm than good. And so I'll never get over it, and will probably harbor some resentment even a couple of years from now. And we agreed to divorce, but she wanted us to remain in contact, even if it was just minimal. The divorce process was pretty smooth, and we got divorced about a month ago. I moved to the West Coast to start anew, and things were finally starting to look good for me. But then, I got a phone call about Sue again from her sister. And long story short, Sue suffered from a stroke. She almost completely immobile on the left side of her body and can barely speak. I can't even put into words how freaking devastating that was to hear, let alone how crushed I felt when I went to visit her. She looked nothing like the person I knew, and she'd always cry when she saw me. One of the worst parts about all this is I can't help but feel like it's my fault this happened to her. People tell me it isn't, but I feel like it is. Even though her closest family says it's not my fault. I can sense some hostility from them whenever I speak to them. Her aunt cussed me out in front of everyone when she saw me, and they were all silent. They just asked me to leave it alone and get on with my life. As much as I wish I could just move on, it still hurts knowing how all this shit turned out. I haven't spoken to Sue since she got the stroke, and her family won't let me see her because apparently I cause her stress. I don't even know the full details because I don't have the right to know now. I just can't seem to catch a break. Damn me, I guess. Now for the top comments. So you left her after she cheated on you with your best friend, and now her family is blaming you for her stroke. Apparently her family is very ducked up. It might explain some of her issues. Don't feel bad for leaving her or blame yourself for anything. I followed your story, and even if I feel bad for what happened to your ex-wife, it's not your fault. You've no part in it. The guilt may have been eating her all this time, and her body couldn't handle it anymore. Hope she can get through it. All the best. Why do you feel responsible? This is only a consequence of what she brought upon herself. I'm so sorry for what she's going through. A health problem is something no one can control. It's easier for her family to find a culprit, and that's you. I know you passed by. I know you loved this woman, but none of this is your fault. I'm sorry for her, but I'm most sorry for you. I'll tell you something about strokes. Although it's kind of rare for her age to have a stroke, it's not something that doesn't happen. I had a friend who had a devastating stroke at 33. They figured the cause was her birth control at the time. She's since made a full recovery. Isa by myself, female, 38, I'm genetically programmed to probably die young from a stroke. It runs in my family. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this isn't your fault. Don't let other people pin this on you. It could have been a medication she was on, genetics, or anything else. Plus, she cheated on you. She brought this stress onto herself. I know you're tearing yourself apart over this, but please don't. Sometimes life happens in ugly ways, and it makes no sense, and nobody is at fault. Her stroke is not your fault. It is likely a result of her overdose and not taking care of herself afterwards. I would put more blame on her family for not taking care of her better. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's story. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.